Alright, what's up guys, it's KOSDFF here, and today I'm going to be making a rant video about a topic that you guys have been hearing me rant about for the better part of the last 3 or 4 years. Actually, every single year a new Call of Duty comes out, and about a week after its launch, I go to play it and every single lobby is completely silent. And it triggers me because a game that I once used to be obsessed with has turned into a graveyard, and then I go on to bitch about how game chat could fix it all, how everyone's bitching about all these different problems, and really the actual core of the problem is just fandom of the game, and the reason why the fandom of the game might be going down is because there's just no interaction. And then I usually go on to explain like the difference between an arcade and a library, and that literally putting a forced game chat in one single game mode could just, I guess, promote socialization of Call of Duty. Now, of course, in those videos I get a lot more technical than that. That's obviously just a kind of like blown over statement of all the other videos I've made. I've actually discovered that I've been approaching this situation completely wrong. I've been telling you guys a solution before explaining the problem, and because of that I feel like my points and the things that I'm saying often get discounted because of my station here on YouTube. Yes, I'm a trolling YouTuber. I make reaction content with random people on Call of Duty, and the fact that there's no one to react to my antics on Call of Duty anymore really diminishes my ability to make videos. And because of that, I feel like you guys really don't hear what I'm trying to say. I still have the same opinion, by the way. I'm just gonna try to explain it in a very different way. And I'm gonna start all the way from the very beginning. A very long time ago, game developers and gaming companies realized that they could get us to work for them for free. They make games where they have to hire voice actors and create storyboards and all these different things for us to interact with the video game. And they spend fucking millions on this shit. Until I'm guessing one smart-ass intern says, you know what, instead of, designing all this stuff and making all these characters and developing all these stories and finding all these really cool ways for the user to interact with the game, why don't we just have the users interact with each other on the game, and that will supply us with endless interaction and content for the players for absolutely forever at the cost of designing a multiplayer. This was a stroke of genius in the birth of multiplayer gaming. Now, this wasn't a revelation that was discovered at Call of Duty, obviously. They weren't the first people to do this. But I will credit Call of Duty with something and creating something in a way that had never been done before and made them one of the most successful gaming franchises ever. Actually, no, I take that back. I don't think they're one of the most successful game franchises ever. I think they are the most successful game franchise ever. Those fuckers release a top-selling new game every single year. If you really think about that, if you compare that to all other gaming developers or gaming companies or franchises or whatever, that's impressive as fuck. The only other people to do that are like EA Sports and 2K. I don't know how many people you can fit in those 2K games, but I think it was the first time where you could get 12 complete strangers in a video game and they could all play it and be social as fuck and talk to each other the whole time. This to me is what multiplayer gaming should actually be. Having the focus being the interaction between the players on the game, not multiple players interacting with your game at the same time. I believe that line right there is the difference between old Call of Duties and the new ones. I go on multiplayer nowadays and I'm interacting with the game with other people. I want to get back to the part of interacting with other people while playing a game. And I'm not saying I'm everybody, but I get tired of playing a game after a while unless there's something new every single time. And the only way to guarantee there being something new every single time is not fucking 9 DLCs and 17 different maps and a whole bunch of other random shit that I don't care about. It's having people that are different. And to be honest, I'm shocked that it's not a thing because we're cheaper than all that other shit. Instead of having to pay a game developer, a designer to make all this stuff, I will actually pay you to go into your game and be a part of your game for other people. And I actually strongly believe that that atmosphere, people interacting with each other and playing a game, is the reason why early Call of Duties and games like Minecraft exploded. Look at all the other multiplayer games. At most you're going to talk to like one other person in those sport games, or the other games that are a lot like Call of Duty but much larger, like Battlefield, where they have this proximity thing where you can only hear people that are near you. And even in those other games, there's so much focus on actually playing the game that the socialization happens secondary. I'm not saying there's not a market for that. There's obviously a massive market for that, but I still think that there's a difference between those games and the arcade phenomenon that was Call of Duty and how it exploded. And if you don't think people will play a game that they're tired of or they've seen everything it has to offer and will still play it over and over and over again just to socialize with people, go get on Black Ops 2 on Xbox 360. Every single lobby has minimum 4 or 5 people with mics and will always have a conversation going. I have yet to join an S&D or a hardcore S&D game and not been instantly confronted with a whole bunch of conversation with either angry people, laughing people, people just having conversations about the most random shit. Believe it or not, I go on Xbox 360 and Black Ops 2 and I'll hear people talking about the new game because they just got done playing it, got bored, and went back and played Black Ops 2. Now, Black Ops 2 is an amazing game. Yes, it's fucking phenomenal. It was one of my favorite games ever. But I am not still playing that game because I'm in love with Black Ops 2. I'm still playing it because that's the only place I can go play a game that's fun and talk to random people that I don't know at the same time. And yes, when I smack the shit out of them, I like to brag and talk shit, and then they talk shit and they might beat me the next game, and you develop this camaraderie, this competitive, I guess, relationship with random people. And this kind of interaction is the reason why people like me play Call of Duty. Now, that's not the only reason, of course. I'm not saying that the new game coming out every single year doesn't offer things that are attractive and they have all these different features that I want to check out and play with and play new guns and try new ways of moving around and see new maps and basically enjoy the game. But I'm talking about after I've done all that, after it's over. Why would I continue to play that game when there's no new things coming out? And the reason is social interaction. This is how you get a kid to play your game for 12 hours in a row instead of 3. Now, you're probably asking, well, why is all that important? Why would they care about people just hanging out in their game or just playing just to talk to other people and stuff like that? Well, the reason is one thing and one thing only. It develops a community. Now, you can say whatever you want about Call of Duty and you can hate on it in all different ways, but the one thing you got to give us is we developed a community around this game. Now, when I say we, I'm not talking about YouTubers or esports players. I'm talking about a mass fucking collection of people that all had the same thought at the exact same time and decided to build a community around an arcade shooter. And other games have communities, don't get me wrong. You can go ask League of Legends players or CSGO players. CSGO is probably the nearest example I can get because you go on that game, everyone talks to each other because you have to be able to be competitive and things like that. But there's a lot of people on there just talking to talk. And Counter-Strike, by the way, has been around for 15 years. I used to play that shit in internet cafes when I was a kid in fucking middle school. And as soon as technology caught up, that game blew up. But I do believe, again, that game became extremely popular because the social interaction increased on the game. Because let's face it, they're even playing some of the same maps that have been around for 15 years. Now, of course, there's been a whole lot of other developments in that game that's led to its success, but I do believe at its core, at the very beginning, the spark, the seed, the explosion that started the game's popularity, a lot like with Call of Duty, was all the way down to the basics, the social interaction between player and player, not players and the game. And if you really connect the dots and think about things like teamwork, well, then you'll figure out where esports came from. Now, this is where this video is going to become a little bit different from my past videos, because I said the only way to solve this problem was to reintroduce forced game chat in Search and Destroy, Hardcore Search and Destroy, and Gun Game, which I believe existed all the way up until Ghosts. Even on the new consoles, when they switched over to Xbox One, those features were still there. I get a lot of comments saying, oh, it's not Call of Duty's fault, PlayStation and Xbox One won't let them do it. Not true. And I realized before making this video that point probably shrouded a cloud over my entire video, and that's the only thing you heard. When really I was just trying to communicate all my previous points and then obviously offer a solution. Well, I'm abandoning that plan. Instead of saying I have the solution, I'm going to ask for one. Dear Call of Duty, your developers have straight up told me that I am wrong, that my opinion about game chat is incorrect and they will not support it. I have come to accept this. I'm a troll YouTuber who owns an esports team and has too much fun on Twitter. I get it. I wouldn't probably take me serious either. I'm going to take the point I'm trying to make and go all the way back to its roots. I want to know if Call of Duty recognizes what I'm saying is a problem, being that the Call of Duty lobbies are silent. Because, okay, I'll accept that you don't think that I'm right about game chat. Fuck, what do I know? You guys are the developers. You guys are the ones getting paid millions and spending millions to make these games, and you've made one of the most successful game franchises ever. Okay, I'll just go ahead and take it on the chin that you're probably right. I'll accept that my solution isn't correct because I don't know everything. They could disagree with my solution, but I still want to know if they recognize that the problem exists. Because based on the interaction I've had with their devs, the conversations I've had with their employees, at their studios, at events, and everything I've basically said, I have never once gotten any kind of acknowledgement that the problem that I'm saying the solution to is even a problem to them at all. So the point of these rant videos has just transformed from saying, hey, we want game chat, to hey, please recognize that there's a problem here and please fix it. If I'm wrong, show me what's right. Educate me, kind sirs. Tell me how we're gonna make Call of Duty social again. And I get that not everybody wants to jump into a Call of Duty lobby and be confronted with 12, 10-year-olds fucking screaming all types of racist slurs. I agree that playing Call of Duty at 4 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of drunk people can be annoying. But the solution to that problem has always existed. It's called a mute button. Now, I've made that point in a previous video saying that all we wanted was the choice that we used to have, and you took away our ability to make that choice. Instead of being able to decide whether I wanted to talk to people in lobbies or not, now I just can't. And the reason why I'm coining this video in this way, or I'm taking this method to explain my point, is that I believe Call of Duty is finally getting to a point where maybe they're just looking for solutions. Maybe they're seeing a game that's not doing as well as they would like, and maybe they want to find out a way to make it better. I had an accounting professor in college that used a very simple visualization to finding problems in a company, where the problems are at the bottom of the lake, represented by the bumps and the rocks and the different things that, I guess, litter a lake's floor, and that all the money and revenue is the water. And it's hard to find the problems when you can't see the bottom of the lake because you're already making so much money. And that usually the only time you actually address these problems is when the lake gets drained, or your profits or revenues fall so much that you can finally see the rocks and pebbles and bumps and the contours of the bottom of the lake because they're popping over the water. An intelligent company, a forward-thinking company, a revolutionary and innovative company will find a way to look at the bottom of the lake way before that water dips down that low. And while everybody else is bitching on Twitter saying what they want changed and how we fix it, I just want to have the discussion of what actually is the problem. What changed between Call of Duty Ghosts and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? Now, I get that they might not see this as a problem or see a problem at all because their lake is full of revenue, being all the DLCs and all the games they're selling. Hell, this year they released 2 Call of Duties. They developed COD points to sell supply drops. They have developed many, many different ways to create revenue sources, like a good company should. Some of you guys hate on that stuff. Well, you guys are just completely ignoring the fact that they're out there to make money. That's the damn point. They should be patted on the back for their ability to do so. So I'm hoping that despite increased sales of DLCs, maybe even increased sales of the games, because I don't even have those numbers in front of me, that the people and developers at Call of Duty might be forward-thinking enough and innovative enough to realize that there is a market there that they are not tapping. A market that has proved to be extremely profitable and extremely successful at building a community. Because I do not believe that if we put these same games back in that same time span, that same community would have risen up. I don't think it would have happened. I think if there was no game chat, instead of Black Ops 2, we had Infinite Warfare or AW, all you did was play with the game, I don't think a community would have came up. If you don't believe me, look at other games. Look at Titanfall. Look at Battlefield 1. Now, I know there's a community around that, but it's nowhere near the Call of Duty community. So I guess my closing point for this extremely drawn out video is if that forced game chat isn't the solution, let's at least try to agree on the problem, and then I'll let the infinitely more capable people at Call of Duty and Activision decide what the solution's gonna be. And they release a game every single year, so let's try some shit. Frankly, I respect how much Call of Duty likes to roll the dice and just see what happens. Fuck it, that shit's fun. But let's try to find a way that I can interact with other players while playing a game after I've gotten done interacting with the game. The only real counterpoint I can think of to this entire video, now I am legally trained, so I am trained to think of both sides of the argument and be able to argue both sides. There's only one clear counterpoint that I can even think of that makes any business sense whatsoever. And it's a fact that's not hidden or not spoken about. It's in our faces, and it's the fact that they release a new game every single year. Maybe they don't want us to keep playing a game that's already been released. Maybe they don't want to have to spend the money to keep Black Ops 2 and 360 servers up. Maybe they don't want people playing AW and Black Ops 3 when the new Call of Duty releases. Maybe after the annual runtime of a game where they've released all their DLCs and they've sold all the copies of that game, maybe it's time to start selling the new game and the new DLCs, and that getting people off the old game and onto the new game is actually more profitable than creating a social Call of Duty. Maybe it's somewhere at the very top of that corporation, there's an infinitely smart executive that's looking at a balance sheet and a revenue sheet that's completely aware of this problem, and they're doing it on purpose. That we want to get them off that game and onto the next one, and the only way to do it, make it where they're only interacting with our game and not each other, so that at a point we can make them switch to the new game because they're gonna crave new interaction and new things like we naturally do. And I'd have to respect the genius of making consumable games rather than games people would stay playing for forever. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did. Please blow up my comment section. I have said a lot of very opinionated things in this video. I have made many leaps of logic. I have proposed ideals and notions that I doubt the majority shares, but I'm hoping if you really listen to this video, really the core points I was trying to make, maybe I've created a new market for an opinion. And I'm hoping that market eventually gets large enough to light a fire under some developers' asses to try and make Call of Duty social again. But yep, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys tomorrow.